What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, today we're not going to be on the bike. That's because we're going to be repairing something on the bike. So my clutch cable is starting to go out. It's pretty frayed under there. So I figured this might be a good opportunity to make a video. So if anybody else wants to go ahead and DIY this, they can go ahead and do that. It's a pretty simple repair. If you've changed your own oil, if you change your own brake pads, this is going to be a piece of cake. All it literally is a cable which attaches right here to the clutch lever, and it just runs through the bike and connects here, which you can see this little arm right here. The cable is attached to that little arm, the little swing arm, and every time you pull the lever, let me see if I can find it. Every time you pull the lever, if you can see it, it actuates that little arm, and that's basically what pulls your clutch in. So there's only 3 points that this thing is actually attached. It's right here on this arm, right here on this little hook, which hooks this way, so it's facing that way. The cable just kind of goes under the lip and it's held in place there, and then it runs through the bike, which you can't see, but there is actually no clamps or any specific routing that this cable needs to go. It's literally just has to find a way to go from here to the lever, which is over here. And in this particular bike, it's simply just routed in. It goes underneath the stem and then down here along the engine, and then right there. On other bikes it might be a little bit different, but this is specifically for the Honda CBR250R. And for this bike, if you're going to go OEM, this is the part you're looking for. I'll also put it in text if it's a little hard to read, because I'm not sure how well the GoPro's catching this. And then all it is this cable right here. So this end with the hard angle goes into the clutch lever, and then this is the end that goes into this swing arm right here. And like I said before, this part is in a lip that's hooked like that and just goes in there. And looking at it, it looks like this bolt right here is going to be reused, and the top bolt is not. So like I said, it's pretty easy routing. I'm not going to need to take off the fairing. It might be a little easier to do it with the fairing off, but unfortunately this fairing is held in place by zip ties, so I'm not going to be doing that. But essentially all I have to do is shove this in there that way at an angle, get it to go underneath the triple tree, and basically come out on this end and slide it down. And that's all there is to it. And you know, the final step is just adjusting and all that, but I just kind of want to do a general walk around of what I'm going to be doing, and now I'm going to show you. Unfortunately, because of daylight savings, it's getting a little dark, so the rest of the video might be during the night. I will put some lighting and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. But yeah, there you go. Let's get to it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. As you can see, it's gotten dark, so hopefully the light doesn't bother you. It doesn't look like it's too bad. So let's run this down one more time before we actually start taking anything apart. So as you can see, this cable just basically runs down underneath the triple tree. You can see me moving it right there. And then essentially all it does is slide down through the fairing. You can see it right there, just along the engine. Then it comes out and connects right here. And that's pretty much it. There's no clips or anything holding it in place. It's literally just shoved in through the frame. So yeah, pretty easy. You're gonna have these two nuts here, this small one, this large one. The small one is gonna be a 12 millimeter. The large one is gonna be a 15 millimeter. Now to get started, what we need to do is we need to loosen the cable. So how we're going to do that is we're going to loosen it first from the clutch cable, and that's simple to do. All you have to do is pull back this little GATOR, and that's going to expose this section right here. Now this section consists of these two little, I guess you can call them nuts, that have these grooves in them. I don't know if you can see, but these grooves line up, and that's what's going to allow you to pull this back and get the cable out like that. So now you have the cable loose, And to get it out of the actual clutch lever, basically pull down, and what you're doing is you're pulling this out of a groove that's under the lever. So now that's done. That's all it is. Just line these up by turning them, and that'll let you slide the cable out through that groove. Now this next part, in order to finish loosening up the cable, which you can kind of see it's already pretty loose, is going to be to loosen this bolt so you can get the cable out. And after you loosen the wire up in the lever, this arm, like you can see, is already pretty loose. All you have to do is push the lever, hold it this way so you can see the little slot in the hole, and all you're doing is pushing that out, and you're getting that end out. And the next step is to get this nut off so you can get the whole wire assembly out. And all you have to do is get the 15mm wrench and just start turning it. Once it breaks loose, you can pretty much do it with your hands and just finish bringing it out. And then you're going to slide that over the wire, take it off, put it somewhere so you don't lose it, and that's it. Your assembly is going to come out and your wire is pretty much free. And then your next step is just rerouting the new cable. So what I'm going to do to make it a little easier is I'm going to leave this one in place, and I'm going to just route the new one alongside this one just to kind of give me a guide. Some people have commented that you can attach a string to one end, pull it out, and then untie it so that way it has the old path of the old cable, and then tie the string to the new one and then pull it through. I'm not going to do that just because I didn't go look for string, and this is pretty simple. It's literally just shoving it through the bike. Like I said, there's no special contact points, there's no special connecting points, there's no clamps or anything like that, so it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera just because I can't really think of a decent angle to use to do that, and I'll be right back. As you guys can see, I have the new cable already routed through. That literally took me less than a minute to do. It was a lot easier than I was even anticipating, but as you can see, it's routed through. I'm going to go ahead and start moving the camera, try to capture this. So as you can see, it's routed in there. It's in the same place right there. It's a little harder to see, but you can see it a little bit right there between those cables. And then we're out through this side, and there's the cables. So all you're doing now is going in reverse. You want to start with the end that's over there where the clutch is, and then you want to get that all set up, and then you want to tighten the one over here. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the other side of the bike and get that all ready to go, and yeah, we'll go from there. But first we're going to pull out this old cable. Let's go ahead and take a look at this cable. So this is the reason why we're replacing it. So you can see it's all kinds of frayed and jacked up. I already had one of these bust on me when I was on the freeway, and I had to basically jumpstart the bike and ride it without being able to shift to get it to a shop so I can get it replaced. It was a pain in the ass finding the cable in the first place, and then it cost me, I think, about $90 for them to do it. Once I found out how easy it is, I'm not going to even bother to pay someone else to do it because it's really simple, as you guys can see. I don't know why this prematurely tore. I don't know if it's a faulty cable. There might also be something wrong with my lever. It came with the bike. It's a cheapo eBay lever, so it might have some hot spots that's causing it to tear. We'll find out with this one, but I mean, the replacement cable is only like $10, so it's not really that big of a deal. But there you go. This is why we're replacing it. So we're back here on the other side of the bike. You can kind of see that little hook I was talking about where this end goes through, and to get this in there, you're simply just going to shove it in there. That's pretty much it. After you slide it in, you're getting your nut, and you're going to go ahead and slide that over the cable. Start threading it. Just bring it over a little bit, and then you're going to bring the swing arm back. Going to slide the cable in there, and that's pretty much it. And then all you have to do is adjust it. We're going to do that after. We're going to go back up to the lever, and we're going to slide the other end of the cable in. Okay, so now we're back over here at the lever, and then all we're going to do is guide the cable back through this little groove like this. So I'm going to slide it in there, slide it in there, and slide it in there, and slide this, then slide this end into that opening. And once you got it
all the way through those grooves. You're going to go underneath your lever, find the little, I guess you can call it reservoir, where this end right here goes into. So just give me a second to go ahead and do that. Alright, so there, we got it in, and it's through the right grooves under the handle, and we're good to go. So now all we have to do is adjust it so we can get some tension on here, and pretty much the bike will be done. So right now we'll go over adjusting. So at this point, if you have the manual, that's where you want to pull that out so you can see the specifications of the tension and all that stuff for this part. But if you're like me, you don't have the manual, so you're gonna have to go off of pretty much feeling, and that's perfectly okay if that's all you have, because you're gonna be able to tell if your clutch isn't tensioned right, because it's not gonna fully disengage. It'll disengage too late, it'll disengage too early, so you can kind of get a feel for it. But basically what I did, so I can try to get somewhat close to what it was, I guess you can say, spec'd at before, is I took a picture of this section and I counted these threads. So I lowered the bolt to about 3.5 threads. That's where it was originally. And then all you're gonna do is pull this back until that nut contacts this. And then you're gonna basically just lower this nut like that. You wanna make sure it's flush and straight. And then all you wanna do is tighten it. At this point, you're going to go ahead and get your 2 wrenches, 15mm for the big one, and 12mm for the little one, and you're going to turn them in opposite directions to tighten that up. And as you can see, the clutch lever should be somewhat engaged, and you can see it pulling there. Now we're going to go back up to the clutch lever and adjust it there. We are back at the lever, and as you can see, it's not properly adjusted, because as you can see how much of a gap you have between the handle and the actual lever. That's pretty big. That's a pretty big gap. It's going to be really uncomfortable to do while you're actually riding. So at this point, what you want to do is you're going to adjust this guy right here, and that's going to help lower the lever to a place that you feel comfortable. And then at that point, you're going to start paying attention to where it engages and disengages. So let's go ahead and adjust this thing. You're going to bring this all the way up just to barely where it touches this, and then you're going to lower it all the way down. See, now it's all the way down, and as you can see, that's going to loosen the lever a lot. And then at this point, all you're doing is finding a gap that's comfortable between these two parts to give you the proper engagement that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So a quick little note on adjusting this part. So the closer this, I guess you can call it, nut is to the handle, the more loose it is. So that means it's going to disengage as you pull in the clutch later or farther down, and it's going to engage earlier, and you're going to have a lot of travel where there's really nothing going on. And then the opposite, if the farther this is away from the handle, the tighter it's going to be. So the earlier it's going to disengage as you pull the clutch, and then the later it's going to engage as you let it out. So for the most part, it's personal preference, but you do want to make sure that it's fully engaging and fully disengaging. You want to make sure that the little clutch arm is going its full range of motion, all the way engaged, all the way disengaged, because if you don't, you're obviously going to be riding the clutch and you're going to burn it out at some point. If you have this how you like it, but you feel that it's not fully engaging or disengaging, that's where you want to go down to the side with the clutch arm and adjust it there. So I'm going to bring it back up. And right now I'm just kind of fiddling with it to figure out where I like it. So my feeling is telling me this is a good spot for it. Now that it's adjusted up here, I'm going to go back down to the clutch side, and we're going to make sure there's no slack. So now we're back down here at the clutch side, and as you can see, you do have a little bit of wiggle. That's fine, because if you didn't have that, then you would be slightly engaging the clutch without even actually pulling the lever. So you're looking for a little bit of play, but what you're looking for is when you apply a little bit of pressure to the lever, as you can see, it pulled it a little bit and it gets a little bit more taut. But if you were to let it go, then you get more play. So that's what you're looking for. You can get a little bit of feel for it, because if you've been riding your bike, you know how it should feel. So the last test is going to be to turn on the bike and make sure that it's not engaging when it's not supposed to, the friction zone feels good, and after that you can wrap it up. So now we're on the bike. We're going to go ahead and turn this on. So again, what you're looking for is that the friction zone starts when it's supposed to, feels good, and you want to make sure that it's completely disengaging once you pull the lever all the way in, and once you let it out, it's fully engaged. So here we go. So as you can see, my friction zone is starting right about there. See the bike moving, and it disengages completely. And then right there is where it starts engaging again. And as you can see, I haven't let the lever all the way out. So when you let it all the way out, it'll be fully engaged and you'll be good to go. And that's pretty much it, guys. Really simple, really easy to do. Like I said, if you've done your own oil, if you do your own brakes, even if you don't do your own brakes, even if you just do your own oil, this is really simple. It's basically connect and disconnect. That's all you're really doing here. As far as the level of difficulty, I would say it's so easy you can probably do this on the side of the road if you really needed to in a matter of minutes. We'll see once I edit this video and everything like that how long this roughly took, but it felt like it was a lot faster than doing my oil, and if I wasn't making the video, I could have probably knocked this out in less than half an hour. So be confident, it's not that hard. Like I said, this is my first time doing it, and I'm glad I did, because I don't have to spend another $90 to do this. All I did was spend 10 bucks for the cable, and I'm good to go. Now, the last thing that you want to do before you call it a night is actually ride it, because that's the only real way you're going to find out if it's fully disengaging and engaging when it's supposed to. But other than that, guys, super simple, barely an inconvenience. Hope you guys liked the video, guys. I hope it was informative. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. And if you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. As always, if you like what I'm doing here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell icon so hopefully you do get notified when I do upload a video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.